Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people, fellow humans, because that's what we are. What's wrong with my shirt? Colorful nuts. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. Here we are, Department of Career Services, day 5 in week number 1 of our neuroscience-oriented, we have a lot of Tetris stuff here. Day 5, week 1, neuroscience-oriented approach to success, where our goal is to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life. That's it, where we break it down into 4 areas: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. That you have to, it's like a 4-legged table. You've got to have 4 solid legs and 4 legs solidly attached. If you have that, you can best navigate through this world. 4 solid legs, not 3. If you have 3 solid legs and 1 wobbly leg, what happens is you can't put much stuff on that corner of the table, on that area of the table. All of the weight needs to be shifted elsewhere, which means you can't put as much stuff on the table. So you might be able to have a lot of stuff on the table if you have 3 solid legs, but it's not as strong as it could be. So say, for example, you got physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. You are really strong mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, but physically you are weak, you are frail, you have diabetes, high cholesterol, you can't walk a mile. Is that going to impact your life? Yes, it's going to impact your life. Imagine how much more you could do if you were physically fit. So you got to take care of that. Or let's say you're physically strong, mentally strong, spiritually strong, but emotionally you are very fragile. You're subject to other people controlling your emotions. Somebody says something, whammo. Car pulls out in front of you, whammo. You go off into this other realm. And what you were doing is gone. Now you're in reactionary mode. Yeah, my eye is much better. You might not be able to tell from there, but in the mirror, it's almost gone. So, 4 strong legs strongly attached. What's an example of a strong leg but not strongly attached? Well, let's say again on the physical side, you exercise, but you do also do things that are bad. You exercise, but you smoke. You exercise, you take drugs. You exercise, but you have a very bad diet. You eat a lot of fatty food, fried food. It's going to catch up to you, right? So that would be you have a strong leg, but it's not strongly attached. You do physical things, but you also do things that negate it. Or the other way, you eat healthy, but you don't live healthy. You have a good diet, but you don't exercise. Strong legs, strongly attached. Okay, that's what we need to do. And that's what this helps you do. That's what we go through over this 4-week period. This is day 4, Yuval Harari, Why Humans Control the Planet. And once you understand this, you can take this down to a personal level. How can I use what Yuval Harari is talking about, why humans control the planet? How can I use that to help me on my journey through this life? Cool. Okay, but before that, let's look at our worksheet, which is down below. Please subscribe, share, click on the bell. You know the thing. Tell other people you know. Why humans control the planet is our theme of the day. Advice from an 80-year-old. Be modest. A lot was accomplished before you were born. Right. That has to do with our skull-sized kingdom. We think, we'll see this next week in week number 2, inside my skull-sized kingdom. We tend to think everything revolves around us. So this is saying, hey, be modest. A lot was accomplished before you were born. That's when we tend to overestimate our value. A lot was accomplished before you were born. Seth Godin. What is Seth Godin's wisdom today? The title of his, this is probably one of the most interesting ones he's done in 20 years. The title is No. No, period, is a complete sentence. So is yes. No is a complete sentence. So is yes. Okay, and the point is, does that mean you don't have to explain your no? You don't have to explain your yes? Is that what that means? Okay, not sure. What not a bevy? Buenos dias. We are literally discussing this exact topic in class of humans ruling the planet and why. Well, you should be prepared by talking about Yuval Harari. Number 1, what is the main reason humans control the planet? So let's talk about that. Why do humans control the planet? Why do humans control the planet? Well, on the highest possible level, it's because only humans can work flexibly in large numbers. No, you got to break it down even more basic than that. Something that people can't argue with. Only humans, you can observe the world. Only humans can work flexibly in large numbers. Right. Working flexibly in large numbers. So you got to distinguish. There are some creatures like ants, like termites, like bees that can work in large numbers, but not flexibly. And Yuval Harari says you'll never see an overthrow of the queen bee where you have a People's Republic of Bees or, a monarchy. Well, let's say it is a monarchy, a democracy of bees. No, it's not because of that. It's not because of that. Well, actually, I think if you break it down this way, we control the planet because we work flexibly in large numbers. Why do we work flexibly in large numbers? Now, you can say we evolve cognitive abilities, but that's so vague. Be specific. Because we invent stories. And if no other animals invent stories. So this is distinguishing us. Why humans? Well, because humans can work flexibly in large numbers. And when you can do that, you can do tremendous things. You can build pyramids. You can do all kinds of stuff. Well, what enables us to do that? What is unique about humans? What is unique about humans? Well, we invent stories. No other animals invent stories. You'll never see 2 chimpanzees walk off hand in hand to observe the beautiful sunset. You'll never see a chimpanzee go off to a chimpanzee band to teach them how to do things. Okay, you don't see that. We invent stories. Now you take it down to the third level. Well, how is it we are able to invent stories? And you can say, well, we're able to invent stories because only humans, so again, this is only humans work flexibly in large numbers, only humans invent stories, only humans see the world in two forms: objective reality, which all animals see, and fictional reality, subjective reality. Yuval Harari calls it fictional reality. Fictional reality. For animals, a river is a river, a mountain is a mountain, a lion is a lion. For humans, we see it subjectively. It's a beautiful river. It's a stinky river. It's a beautiful mountain. It's a scary mountain. And you can transform that now to a worthless green piece of paper. That for an animal, there's no utility in this worthless green piece of paper. You can't eat it. You can't wear it. It doesn't have any intrinsic objective value. But with humans, we can create a story that says this green, worthless green piece of paper is actually worth 10 bananas. And you can take that worthless green piece of paper, and if other people believe it, you can exchange that piece of worthless green paper for bananas, because everybody believes the story that that worthless green piece of paper is actually not worthless. It has value. And the more zeros on it, the higher the value that worthless green piece of paper has. If you want to test this theory, get some foreign money and walk into a store and try to buy bananas with it. It won't work. Here. Why? Because we don't believe the story that that worthless green piece of paper has less value than our worthless piece of green paper. Okay, so Yuval Harari says only humans can see the world in two ways, objectively and subjectively. And the key thing about Yuval Harari is he breaks it down to only humans. Why do humans control the planet? Because only humans can do this, because only humans can do that, because only humans can do this other thing. Now, we switch from Yuval Harari to Susanna Herculano, who was at Princeton, and she takes it down several more layers onto a neuroscience level and asks the question, well, why is it that humans see the world in two different realities and no other animals do? And she said, what? Why is it we can have abstract thinking? What, not a bevy. Why are humans the only creatures that have abstract thinking? And the answer is what? Because only humans, no, you got to take it one step at a time. We control the planet because we're great. We have more neurons. That's why we have more neurons. And she has plotted the number of neurons in, I don't know, scores or hundreds of different animals. And there is a definite correlation between neurons and ability. Worms can't do a lot. They don't have a lot of neurons. Mice have less neurons than rats. Rats can do more. You have, then you work your way up. Cats, dogs, pigs, horses, apes, you just work your way along the scale. I don't know if that's the right order, but there is a definite correlation between the number of neurons and what we're able to do. Abstract thinking, let's say, cooperation, inventing stories. We're able to do that. Now, Susanna Herculano takes it down to the next level and says, well, why do we have more neurons? Why do we have more neurons? Okay, now, but before that, Susanna Herculano talks about as the human brain got larger, as we got more neurons, we became more sophisticated. How do we know? Fire pits. You go back and you find fire pits that are millions of years old, maybe 1,000,000 years old, 800,000, 7, 6, 5, fire pits and fossils. As fossils, skulls get larger, the debris, the things that are left in fire pits, gets more sophisticated. So we know that neurons, there's a relationship between neurons and sophistication. We have that in the record. And there's not like 5 fossils out there. It's not like the people who believe the literal interpretation of the Bible will tell you there is a definite core. There's a lot of fossils, and we see over time as the skull gets bigger, sophistication gets larger. Right. Okay, so Susanna Herculano establishes that. And then she says, okay, well, what is it about fire pits that lead to why humans control the planet? How do fire pits do that? And the idea, as stated above, was we cooked our food. Okay, so what does cooking food have to do with controlling the planet? Now, riddle me that. If you're still there, what not a bevy? How do you tie fire pits into controlling the planet? OFC. What does that mean? How do you associate fire pits with controlling the planet? More efficient calorie usage. No. More time to, okay. As we were able to get more calories in less time, that gave us more time to do other things. Like what? What kind of things? What not a bevy? This is how it is in law school. So she's now at university in the South. How did that you take it to the next level? Okay, well, tell me, how does spending less time finding food, eating food, digesting food, how does that relate to controlling the planet? More time to do things. Okay, like what? What kind of things? Beep, bop, boop, bop, boop. What kind of things? Well, the answer is it gave us more time to solve problems. Well, more time for sex and more time for solving problems. And what happens when you're solving problems? What's going on in your cranium? Okay, solving problems. So the answer would be solving problems, because they're not going to say, hey, let's make a hammer. What's a hammer? I don't know. We'll find something to do with it, but let's make it first, right? So we have more time to solve problems. What are the basic problems? Survival. What do we need to survive? Basic necessities, food, clothing. Where do we find food? How do we do blah, blah, blah? How do we keep warm? How do we do this? So we have more time to solve problems. And so what's going on in our brain? Neural activity. And the more neural activity we have, the more what we need. We need more neurons, not just to store data like Neanderthals apparently did. They had a larger brain, more neurons, but not as, I'm going to use the word sophisticated, but that's not the right word. Like they think of it like they had big filing cabinets. Our brain is more like algorithms. So for an example would be Neanderthal says, if I want to get from here to there, first I go this direction, then I look for a tree, then I do this, then there's this bush, and then I do that, and then there's all of it, and I have to remember a lot of stuff. Versus head to that mountain over there, or what would be another thing? Yeah, just head to the mountain. You don't need to think about every step along the way. So our brains are more sophisticated, prefrontal cortex. We're now out of time, but humans control the planet. The simple answer is, why do humans control the planet? Because only humans, and this is the key phrasing, only humans can work flexibly in large numbers. And then you can deconstruct that. Well, why is it only humans can do that? Because only humans tell stories. Well, why is it that humans can tell fictional stories? Because we are able to see the world in a objective reality and fictional reality. Why are we able to do that? Why are we able to do that? And that's because we have more neurons. Why do we have more neurons? Because we had more time to solve problems. Because we cooked our food. Ba-bing, bada-bing, bada-bing. Okay, so good job. I think you're now well prepared for your lecture, your study. And with that, I am going to say, Wiedersehen. Time is up. Time is racing.